I was in the midst of gooning to Fuda Skirk when these Donhung SP leaks dropped, so now I will be, sharing it with the rest of you. Now, this entire thing is going to be an overview, even though it supposedly has new leaks for what Donhung SP can do. It's also a leak that really just lists everything that Donhung is supposed to be able to provide, right? So, let's get straight into it. So first, we have 5-star physical preservation. This hasn't changed for like months now. He was originally fire, then changed to physical, and he hasn't changed at all. And going further down the leaks, you will understand why it is that he's likely physical. Next, we have will be a free character. Of course, this is basically like a 99% guarantee because Donhung is literally less than 2 patches away, and Archer was leaked to be free more than 2 patches away, and that was completely correct. So the chances of Donhung being the free character is incredibly high. After this, we have targets and ally with skill, potential 4-piece Sacrados holder. We'll see whether or not that ends up holding up, but that's all we have, right? After this, has an action bar summon being a dragon, of course, right? For some reason, Donhung just, loves dragons. This guy is completely dragon themed, so he needs a dragon summon alongside him. After this, we have stated by leakers that he's able to designate a summon, the dragon, to a teammate or teammates, and it will act as their own summon, similar to Jing Yuan or Topaz, right? So this means if you put a summon onto Phanon, it will make it into his ult, right? After this, the summon is speculated to act in tandem with the character. Now this is the interesting leak. This is pretty crazy if it ends up being true, because this means literally every single turn that Phanon takes in his ult, the summon will also act and likely do damage. So one of the things that I mentioned, right, to put Donhung's summon or Donhung himself on a same value tier or even higher than the likes of Saridra, is that the summon probably needs to do like 1,000,000 damage in a cycle, right? Or sorry, in an ult. He needs to do 1,000,000 damage in an ult for it to really be justifiable to pull Donhung over the likes of Saridra, right? Because you might be saying, pull Donhung, he's free. I'm mentioning this because of the light cone. His light cone will likely have vulnerability, 18%, and so long as you're not in a team with Tribby, just adding Donhung to the team will increase his overall damage output by 18%, and then the light cone usually has a bunch of other gimmicks that increases probably Donhung's own damage as well, and might have some other QOL in there, right? So, if this is true, summon attacks literally every time Phanon attacks. After this, it says that the summon will take advantage of Saridra's Peerage passive. An ally with both Peerage and the Dragon summon will enable the summon to attack twice in tandem with the character and take advantage of the double skill ability. Now, I've already seen people misinterpreting this. This does not mean that the summon can actually generate stacks for Saridra's double skill. It means once you hit the 6 stacks for her skill that Phanon will attack, the summon will go, also get the buff, and then Phanon will attack again, and then the summon will go again. That is how this works. It's not actually generating, these stacks for Saridra. It's just taking advantage of these stacks that have already been built up by Phanon himself, right? The next leak is that Donhung's boon, Terravox, apparently has providing shields, and he is HP % scaling. So if this were to be true, then this means that Donhung is an HP % scaling shielder. Pretty nice, right? And so you're obviously going to probably want to build up either HP substats or defense substats, maybe both, right? I think HP though, right? So another HP scaler added to the mix. Truly, what more could you want, right? After this, they say his design elements aren't actually Dromus, but Eastern Dragon. So it seems they maybe thought Dromus may have looked a little too goofy, so they just gave up on it and then just gave him a dragon. I mean, I guess, right? His main color theme is still green and white. His animation effects are golden because of his core flame. His tail will be present on his model, but the armor silhouette that we saw from the Amphorius trailer a long time ago has been scrapped. And lastly, he has Geosaurus style horns. So that is the entirety of Dan Heng's leaks that we know so far. Now, the new thing that, I kind of put a lot of preface on earlier is being able to activate Ceridra's passive and take advantage of it. And as well, the summon will act every time the character it's attached to acts. So once again, if this summon does a decent chunk of damage, he doesn't need to do as much as Phaenon's Meteors. He just needs to do like a little bit of sub DPS. That's all he needs. And truthfully, I think Dan Heng is an amazing pull for Phaenon, and this 100% could bridge the gap between sustainless and sustained, because a lot of people are complaining, because Phaenon is the definition of a hypercarry in this game, he notices the biggest drop-off, the less and less, buffs he gets. But now, given this with the 45% damage boost trace, having Sunday on the team adding another 50%, you now have this, the summon attacks, makes it into old summon attacks every time Phaenon moves. The summon is physical, right? The reason this is important, maybe not for E0 havers, right? For E0 havers, this does not apply to you, but for E2 Phaenon havers, if the summon does like physical damage, right? Phaenon's E2 has physical res pen, so this should mean that Phaenon's E2 synergizes with the summon, and then the summon will also get 20% res pen from Phaenon's E2. So that's also pretty sick, right? So that's all I have to say. Love you all. Hope you have a great day. Hope you all have a great night, and peace out.